Shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders of GMS that rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to all the brothers out there pushing this word of sincerity and the truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping this word of sincerity and the truth. Okay, I'm going to make this a quick lesson. I'm not going to read this whole article, but I am going to read just a little bit of it. It says, people don't know what to do with a happy woman with no kids. Child-free women or a child-free woman says it's time to reject societal expectations. So you can kind of already know where this lesson is heading. But the scriptures talk about, the scriptures tell, which I'm going to get two scriptures, but the scriptures literally say women should be saved in childbearing, but she shall be saved in childbearing. It say that in Timothy, but she shall be saved in childbearing. If you got women, and this, if you got women in the mindset of thinking that they don't want, it's not mandatory to, well, I'm gonna get three scriptures. It's not mandatory to have children, then you're outside your purpose. I'm gonna get four scriptures. Precepts are just flooding into my mind as I'm contemplating. I'm thinking about this in real time. Precepts just kind of coming to my mind because I initially only was gonna get one, but it done multiplied to four. So it says content creator K took to Instagram recently to argue that some women face resentment from other women simply for being single, child-free, and happy. But it's not the fact that they just single, child-free, and happy. She's going to further say that she's rejecting what she considers older generation felt is mandatory to have children. She feels it's optional, and the focus and being able to focus on her. And this is definitely a mindset for a lot of women because I know a woman who I even asked. She had been faced. Well, I ain't gonna say faced. She had been maybe she was she's a what is she? I forgot what is that? Life insurance. She sells life insurance, and so one of her clients was an older woman. I can't remember if she was a Israelite woman or Edomite woman. I can't remember the nationality she said, but it was an older woman. And the woman had asked her if she had any kids. And she said no, she was just focusing on her career. And the older woman told her she needed to have some kids. She said she needed to be trying to have some kids. Basically, have children. Because the girl I'm talking about, she's 25. She's 25. And she's talking about she's focusing on her career. The older lady, she would tell her, like, look, you need to be trying to have some children. You need to be trying to establish yourself. These women in modern day time, they really had a mindset that they would rather just focus on themselves and not fulfill their purpose. That is a part of your purpose, is to have children. You literally have a whole womb meant to bring children into the world, to bring the next generation. And you have women that's not even in that mindset to do so. But the Lord is going to change all of that. So I'm going to read this one. It says, in the now widely shared clip, Kay suggested that modern women who openly reject traditional expectations around marriage and motherhood are often met with judgment because their happiness challenges long-standing societal norms. And it's right, because it lets you know that there's something seriously wrong with that. Other women are literally ostracizing you because there's something wrong with that. You have a problem with focusing on basically your purpose, or a part of your purpose at least. It said marriage and motherhood. So when you go into marriage, that goes into being a wife, the duties that come with being a wife, and then motherhood, obviously bringing children into the world, being a mother, which duties come with that too. You challenging that, wanting to focus on yourself. And of course, it's the so-called black woman, young one too. Like I said, it's young. She in her 20s or 30s. It's no telling. But this is the generation that just does the opposite. Now I'm gonna get let me see. It says the video seems to be gaining. Let me read this before. It says, someone coming to living alone, single with my own money and peace is the absolute best. I don't take advice from people who have a life I would never want to have, and they hate that. Yeah, you know it's some type of woman. You know it's all, you know it's nothing but women on here speaking about this. Oh yeah, women love when men do this. You know, I don't know what she talking about, but it's just something how that popped up. But like I said, living alone single, that's already something wrong with that. As a woman, that's not how you supposed to live. Living alone single in this world with this economy, with the gas prices going up, and you talking about happy with your own money? No, because it's not going to be like that for long, especially when Jacob's trouble intensifies. When those evils intensifies, you going to definitely want a man, and you're going to want a man of the Lord, because those are the only men that's going to be capable of getting you out of that situation. You know, via if they take you on to be their wife. It says, I'm proud of this new generation of women, another said. So ain't no telling that's a man or woman, but more than likely it's probably a woman. And this new generation is the same generation that Yahweh Shah said was wicked and adulterous. You know, this is that same generation. Now it says the video seems to be gaining traction because it touches on a growing cultural divide between women embracing traditional family roles and those increasingly choosing independence, delayed motherhood, or child-free lifestyles. So that's completely against your nature. Now, it says Kay tied her comments around generational expectations placed on women, arguing that many older generations were conditioned to see motherhood as mandatory rather than optional. But it's not optional, not according to the Lord, because that's a part of that's literally a major part of your purpose. That's a major part of your purpose. And it says, she suggested that many women today are the first in their family lines to consciously question whether marriage and motherhood are actually necessary for fulfillment. And like I said, I know a woman personally that said that, you know, that has that mindset. And the funny part about it is she calls herself a Christian, going to the Christian church. And guess what? The church is led by an Edomite. Got Edomites in there. And you know, it's Eve, 25-year-old. Following after Edomites, you know. But our people and our women, most definitely in this generation, they lost, you know. But let me get a couple scriptures. Let me get all the ones I said I'm gonna get first. I always forget where this is at. First Timothy chapter 2, verse 15 in the KJV. Notwithstanding, well, I started 14 or 13. It says, Adam was first formed, then Eve. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith and charity and holiness with sobriety. So it literally lets you know that a part of the reason why you're going to be delivered and saved, Israelite woman, is because of childbearing, to bring back the nation of Israel. The Lord is not going to completely do away with the entirety of the women of our nation, but two-thirds of the people that's going to perish over here in Babylon the Great are women, because women outnumber men, for one, and two, it's a lot more men being put to death, which leaves a lot more women left. You know, women outnumbering men. And then another point too, these women are on a whole nother level and refuse to repent. So the Lord he's gonna clean our women up one way or another, whether via this word or via through judgment. But the ones who getting cleaned up via the word, and the Lord is gonna have mercy on, it says she shall be saved in childbearing. So childbearing, and according to the scriptures, when you have sex, how marriage actually works, that's when you actually become a man's wife. The man that you have sex with that takes your virginity, as this world say, that's actually your husband. You know, that's how it works. You know, and the bleeding on the sheets, that's the covenant. That's the covenant being established. You know, how the Lord establishes a lot of covenants. A lot of it be by blood. What did He establish with Moses and the children, well, through Moses and the children to the children of Israel, he sprinkled blood on them. You know, he sprinkled the blood of the lamb. It was all symbolic of Yahweh Shai shedded his blood for the nation of Israel, starting with the elect. But you know, there was blood in, blood out. That's how it is. They even do that now. You know, in modern day, on the left hand side, blood in, blood out. Whether it be gangs, whether it be the of course the industry, all, you know, however, whichever level you get up to, no matter what, they always do they do blood sacrifices, you know. So even when it comes to a man and a woman having sex, or basically coming together for the first time, and she bleeds, that's that covenant being established that you and her are now husband and wife, and y'all are together for life. And Yahweh Shai said that too. He said, look, it wasn't initially meant for a man and a woman to divorce. They were initially meant to stay together for the rest of their lives. And that's how it's going to be in the kingdom of heaven. We're not going to divorce our wives. Our wives are not going to leave us. We're going to be together forever, you know? And it's going to be a perfect thing. It ain't going to be like, oh, you're going to get tired of this person. You will never get tired of your husband. You will never get tired of your wives in the kingdom of heaven. Never. Never get tired. So I'm going to read again. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith and charity and holiness with sobriety. But you got women of this generation don't have a desire to have children. How does that work? What is your purpose? Now let's get that. That's Matthew chapter 5 and 13 in the AMP. You are the salt of the earth. Israelite man, Israelite woman. Because the Israelite man, you know, you the head of the Lord, you the cream of the crop. All the other nations desire to be like you. All these other men desire to be like you. You know, they want to be like the Israelite man. But they can't, because the Lord made us special. You know, we have qualities, traits, and skills that the Lord gave the nation of Israel that no other nation has. The same way with you women. The other nation women want to be like you. Why do you think the whole concept of BBLs, makeup, lip, Botox, you know, lashes, all that stuff wasn't meant for you? The Lord took those things. The hair. The Lord took those things away from you as a curse. He didn't. Esau didn't set all these things up for you. It was for his women. You know, it was really for his people. These other nations, they set it up for their nation of women to look more like the Israelite woman, not just the so-called black woman, but the so-called black, Hispanic, Latino, and Native American woman. You were the standard in the earth at one point. The other nations, men and women, wanted to be like us. So we were the salt of the earth and are still the salt of the earth, even in our low estate. It says, but if the salt has lost its taste or purpose, and more specifically for the women, if you've lost your desire to be mothers, to bring children into the earth, and to be wives, what good are you for? That's literally a part of the reason why you were created, to bring life into the earth. You know, if we are the sons and daughters of Yahweh by Hashem Shai, we have an extension of that, or even just in his creation in general. His creation, because I ain't gonna even just put it on us. His creation requires, or with his creation, he has a program in his creation to bring more creation, you know? So we are programmed to bring more life into the earth. You know, that's why the Lord gave us men desires for the woman, things that we see on the woman that turns us on, that we like, you know, and vice versa for a woman. A woman to see things about a man, his build, his muscles, his neck, you know, his jaw, his face, whatever the case may be, you know, everything that a woman is attracted to for a man. And for a man, a woman's body, her shape, you know, her smell, her hair, her legs, you know, her breasts, everything about a woman. That's why the Lord has it that way. Because He it's to keep creation, it's to keep life flowing, keep life going. So if you lost that desire, what good are you for? If men is with men and women is with women, what good are you for? You're going outside of your purpose. So it says, how can it be made salty? It is no longer good for anything but to be thrown out and walked on by people when the walkways are wet and slippery. So if you, as women, don't want to be wise or think that you can just put it off and do it whenever you feel like doing it, instead of coming to that conscious conclusion that you need a man, and a part of needing a man is eventually having to bear this man's children and be a wife to this man and a mother to his children. If you don't have that mindset and that desire to do so, then what are you here for? And the Lord is gonna make it known that you're not here, you're not doing your job, you're not here for anything, you're not doing anything purposeful. Let's see. Now, I actually forgot one of the scriptures I said I was going to get. Let me get this really quick, though. This is Isaiah 4:1 in the Message Bible version. It says, that will be the day when 7 women will gang up on one man, saying, we'll take care of ourselves, get our own food and clothes. Just give us a child, make us pregnant so we'll have something to live for. And a part of having, because like I said, in the Bible, marriage comes through sex. So in order for a woman to get pregnant and have a child, she has to have sex. And having sex meaning that man is going to become her wife. That man is going to become her husband. She's going to become his wife. And like I said, 7 women, a complete number of women. So the mindset of women, or certain particular women, will change from wanting to be independent, of not feeling like they need a man, to they're in a desperate situation. Because we keep telling women now, you need to be trying to get with the man. Get with the men of the Lord. If you aware of everything that's going on and knowing that these situations that people finna find themselves in is literally life or death, you need to begin with the men of the Lord. Because if you don't, you might find yourself on the outside looking in, or the outside trying to get in, instead of being on the inside, not trying to get kicked out, But it's going to be a lot of women trying to do this thing. They're going to switch to that mindset, of wanting to actually bear children and wanting to be with a man. Like I said, so we'll have something to live for. That's a part of your purpose. Like I said, you are the salt of the earth, but if the salt has lost its savor or purpose, like I said in the AMP, where your purpose is to be a mother. Your purpose is to be a wife and a mother. A wife to the man that you have children with. That's how it's supposed to be. Of course, we know we live in a society where things don't go the way they're supposed to, because the society is being ran by the wicked. But that's how the Lord set it up to be. Now, I kind of want to get trying to see if let me go back. I want to get the last verse in this. This is Isaiah 3:25 and 26. In the Message Bible, it says, your finest fighting men will be killed, your soldiers left dead on the battlefield. The entrance gate to Zion will be clotted with people mourning their dead, a city stopped under the weight of her loss, brought to her knees by her sorrows. That will be the day when 7 women will gang up on one man, saying, we'll take care of ourselves, get our own food and clothes. So even the traditional marriage customs where a man takes care of the wife or takes care of the woman, well, we see that times are not the same anymore. Well, women are working, women have jobs, women work overtime, they got their own apartment, got their own cars, they got their own bank accounts. So They can order their own, order their own stuff. But that's how they living now. So you don't have to do those things anymore. They're not completely outside of society where they can't do these things in society. So like I said, we'll take care of ourselves, get our own food and clothes. Just give us a child, make us pregnant so we'll have something to live for. I'm gonna read the first paragraph. It says, and that's when God's branch will sprout green and lush. The produce of the country will give Israel survivors something to be proud of again. Oh, they'll hold their heads high. Everyone left behind in Zion, all the discards and rejects in Jerusalem will be reclassified as holy. So this going into the elect. Because like I said, the discards and the rejects, meaning like the men of the Lord, our people disregard the men of the Lord. They disregard the message. They don't really uphold the men of the Lord. And in some cases, you got sisters that's really trying to be faithful to your house by Shema Bashai. You get overlooked. We get overlooked by our own people. Our own people don't consider that, we trying to do the right thing so that we can get out of this position and get back into our rightful position. But it said we will be reclassified as holy. Ultimately, the whole nation, alive and therefore precious. The Most High will give Zion's women a good bath. That's what I was laughing at. It said he'd give them a good bath. He'll scrub the blood-stained city of its violence and brutality, purge the place with a firestorm of judgment. So that we know what's coming. We know that, like I said, a firestorm of judgment. We know the Lord's going to judge Babylon the Great. He's going to judge America. He's going to judge our people. Heavy. Very, very heavy. So, very unimaginable judgment he's going to bring on this place and to the people. So, women still being in the mindset of not wanting to be with a man, especially a man of the Lord, because that's the only man that's going to bring, that you're going to be able to be saved under. And you don't even want to think about bearing his children. Like that's crazy. That's a part of it. That's a part of your purpose. So I'm going to read that same verse in the KJV and I'm going to close it out. It says Isaiah 4:1, and in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. And in the AMP it says of being unmarried. So, because like I said, being that article said something about being single, child free, and happy. Yeah, we're gonna see how long that lasts. We're going to see how long that lasts. Here it is. Single, child-free, and happy. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Living alone, single with my own money and peace is the absolute best. I don't take advice from people who have a life I would never want to have, and they hate that. I'm proud of this new generation of women. Another says, so yeah, we gonna see. We gonna see real soon. Cause you gonna be made to eat them words. Whoever wrote that comment, gonna have to eat them words. And if it was a man that left that comment, well, you might not be around to see the prophecy unfold, You might not be around to see it. But if it was a woman, you might not be around to see it either. But if you are, you don't have to eat them words, If you living alone, single with your own money and peace, and that's the absolute best, well, the Lord probably going to leave you in that condition. Alone, single, no money, no peace. Because that's what's coming. So, Lord wills, edifying lesson. On that note, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to all the brothers out there pushing this word of sincerity and the truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping this word of sincerity and the truth. Until next time, shalom.